In this video, we're going to look at finding domain and range graphically. So here we have, again, another one of my beautiful makeshift graphs. Remember, we want to remember that the domain is a set of all x values. And our range is a set of all y values. Okay, so these are things that we want to keep in mind. So when we're looking at for our domain here, when we look at all x values, what we want to do is we want to look, okay, x values move from left to right. So that's what we're looking at. We're just moving from left to right. So if we look at our graph here, the farthest left point versus the farthest right point, the farthest point to the right. Right? And then we want to look at those actual values. The value here that's the farthest to the left is at -3, and the value here that's farthest to the right is +2. Hang on just a second. So our domain is between, -3 and +2. What we can do is we can write this using an inequality, which is something that you learned about the basics of in, let's see, where did you learn about the basics of that? In the previous class, Math 1101. So we're going between -3, so that means y has to be greater than -3, greater than or equal to -3, and less than or equal to +2. And we can represent this using a compound inequality. -3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 2 for our domain. Right? It goes from -3 to +2. Then when we're looking for our range, right, our range is our y values, so that means going up and down. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to find the lowest possible y value on our graph, that's this point here, and then our highest possible y value on our graph, which is that point there. So the lowest possible point happens to be -3 again, and the highest possible point, 1, 2, 3, is 4. So again, we can use our three-part inequality, our compound inequality. Since we're dealing with our y values, we're going to use the variable y. So we have -3 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to +4. So that's dealing with your domain and range graphically. Now, this would change depending on, what other things are in your graph. For instance, if this kept on going up and out like that, then both our domain and our range would completely change. Our domain would still be starting at -3, but as this moves up, it continues to move out and out and out and out and out eventually. So our domain would be from -3, everything greater than that. So if that were the case, our domain would be x is greater than or equal to -3. And then likewise with our y, right? Our lowest y value is again -3, and it continues to go up and up and up and up and higher and higher and higher. So y would be greater than or equal to -3. And that's just another graph.